Well, you find me this morning halfway to Bunbury, stopped at a mate's place, just south of Perth, about an hour from Perth. Behind these doors he has a rather interesting collection of vehicles. There's some unusual stuff, there's some old stuff, and there's some broken stuff. And there's Colin. So let's go and knock on his door. Let us in.
Hi Dave, how are you going?
Alright, how are you?
Here and loving it as usual.
Yeah.
Any day in the workshop above ground is a good day.
The good thing is you're still breathing.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm trying to keep doing that.
Yeah. Right, well, thanks for inviting us down.
My absolute pleasure.
We've been trying to get here for a while, but you moved house and you're still moving house, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You've still got things
Still
to
a lot of unpacking and it just goes on
and on and on and on and on. Yeah.
But I've got this bit clean enough and tidy enough for me to actually work on my cars.
Beautiful. You got one or two?
Yeah, I had more, but I got told I needed to get rid of some. You get that with daughters. She's a car freak. I mean, her car is here, but no, I got told I needed less cars, more of which I could drive.
Well, at least you can drive them. That's
well,
the main thing.
In all honesty, I say if you can't get in a car and drive it Perth to Adelaide, there's something wrong. Anything that I've got in here which is registered and running will get to Adelaide. No problem.
Will it get back?
Yeah, you put it on a transporter. Anyway, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with...
Let's start with
this one.
The regular beastie, Boss's Transport.
Yes.
Boss is his dog, by the way.
Yeah.
The Rolls.
This is Rolls. I've had it for 4 years now, and it's basically high days and holidays. It's only does car shows.
Yeah, you regularly take it to Cars and Coffee.
Oh, straight, yeah. It's going this Sunday.
Yes.
No, tell a lie, I'm taking the Mustang because I'm the chap that's got the Honda Beat said bring the Mustang and I'll bring the Beat, and a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, a bit of a challenge, yeah.
But there we go. It's quite unusual in several inconspicuous ways, and that's my favourite.
Yeah.
No, these wheels are 3 years later than the car, and the actual hubcap with the silhouette of the Spirit of Ecstasy, the little statuette on the radiator. There's actually only one other set of those in Australia. BMW, do you remember them? They made cars as well. Rolls Royce didn't produce these for very long.
Right.
I actually got offered $60 for one hubcap.
Right.
And when I finished laughing, I said to the guy, you need 4, they're $100 each, and I want standard hubcaps. I mean, am I going to drive around with 3 hubcaps on my... I mean, come on. And if it was easy to buy them, he would have done. You can't get them, so, you know, bit of a seller's market. But
it is,
funnily enough, when I mentioned the what was needed, he sort of faded to black. You get that on the bigger jobs.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But no, it's subtle. Nobody else would know that they're 3 years different.
No,
Nobody else would know there's only one other set.
No.
And of course the only tow bar on a Rolls Royce in Perth. And unfortunately, as David said, my little dog lives in the back. There's his travel thing. And people say to me, you've got a dog in the back of your Rolls Royce. And I say, well, he hasn't learned to drive yet.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, how can I put him in the front?
Yeah. And when he's learnt to drive, you've got to buy him the uniform with the cap.
Absolutely. But he does look cute.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
He has that look.
He does, yeah.
He does have a look.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's this little soul.
Very good. Thank you for that one.
That's the gentleman's carriage. Back under its cover, looking after my little friend there who's wearing a nightie as usual.
Yes.
But this is far more exciting. This is actually my daughter's car. She's in Cairns at the moment, but I have driving privileges.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And this is the one that will certainly light the odd fire given half a chance. Her 1970 Mach 1 Mustang, completely unrestored. He's even got the original upholstery, where it was stored in a garage in California for 12 years under a cover, so it buffed off the paint there.
Yeah.
And of course, it is still left-hand drive.
Coffee.
Oh, you wouldn't want to go there. And of course, it is still left-hand drive. Weird seatbelt. You pull this one out and attach it to the middle, and then the shoulder strap has got like a mushroom end on it, which goes in there and locks.
So it's very much of the period, really, isn't it?
Oh, very much, very much. Yeah. And the only reason we're allowed to keep it is because it's all got the original manufacturer's labels on to say that it complies as a seatbelt.
Yes.
You also have these little pop-out windows for a bit of airflow, and the dog loves it.
Oh, you would do, yeah. Yeah. Now this is the one you're taking on Sunday to Cars
Yeah,
and Coffee.
Cars and Coffee will be this one. Boss will be forced to come with me.
Ah.
To get him into a car, it's, talk about a struggle. You move the seat forward, and by the time you've gone, where's the dog, he's in there and going, and?
Yeah.
You mean I'm waiting?
Yeah.
351 Clevo, FMX, which is the in-house Ford Sports automatic transmission, 8 3/4 inch open. I had it down at Race Wars, and I got the speedo needle rubbing the reset rod for the trip meter, so maybe take a snap of that.
Yeah.
But I reckon 145 miles an hour. Never mind the K's, they're for girls. Miles.
Yeah, and you took this one up to the Nicola estate a couple of weeks ago. When
Yes,
we
I did.
there.
Yeah.
And
it's also been to Carnamar for the big tractor. Tell you what, folks, you need to go to Carnamar, because if you want the picture of your car, Carnamar is the place to go. Put a couple of stills on.
Yeah.
But I took this, and I've got one picture with Boss's nose sticking out the window. I mean, I didn't even realise when I took it, when I sent the picture to my daughter. She said, you know, Boss is looking out the window, and I had to sort of like zoom. Oh, look. He's a lovely little soul. Yeah, this one has, again, a couple of interesting factory options, which has got a couple of extras which are factory, but elevate it from the norm. It has the genuine shaker scoop, which of course is bolted to the engine, so when you start it up, it very nice.
Yeah.
Ford did it over here, but they did it in 71, 72, I think.
Yeah.
Everything on this is like a Falcon, but a year earlier.
Yeah.
So if it's a 1970 Mustang, it's a 1971 Falcon. I can get all the same bits and use them. And the other important feature it has is the rim blow steering wheel, which probably won't work until the ignition's on. But you actually squash the rim of the steering wheel to make the horn work. You don't press the button or push the thing, you squash, you pinch the thing. Yeah. And I was told by a guy that's just restored one of these, a 1970, that a rim blow steering wheel that was found in a Ford dealership, still in the box, never been on a car, auctioned for 3,000 American.
Gee.
So yeah, there's a $3,000 steering wheel just there.
Yeah.
And what is it, the Marty report, where they value the cars? And,
yeah, I've heard of that.
apparently that is a $3,000.
The shaker.
That's, if it had no shaker, it's $3,000 less. Because it's a genuine shaker, not one that's had a hole chopped in the bonnet, because the reinforcing for the bonnet skin is different for a shaker than a non-shaker.
Right, it'd have to be, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you chop it out, you then have to chop away half the reinforcing,
right,
and it's like a sponge.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, genuine is genuine, and it's much, much better. So that's those little souls. And then of course we have the other toys.
We do.
And this, Dave, is my trailer. As far as I know, it's the only one in the world. There are other cars that have been chopped into trailers, but no one has done it with a Jaguar apart from an E-Type, which, well done for them. But no one has done it with either an XJ6 or this, which of course is a Daimler Sovereign. The big giveaway that it's a Daimler Sovereign is the fluted grip for the boot handle. It did have 4 fuel tanks, but I decided I didn't want to move 200 litres of fuel in the back of the car, so I'm having to make do with the 100 in the car. These are high level reversing brake lights. They do work with the brakes. And these, it took me forever to do it. I mean, that's a whole video by itself, trust me. I moved, there is no electrical works in this area of the light.
Right.
No globe, no reflector, nothing. And it has been sprayed flat black to, even though the reflector is missing, it's flat black behind there to stop any reflection of a red light forwards. But these now have the old brake and parking light globe in them.
Right.
When you put on the parking lights, these show a marker light forward, and when you use the indicators, these flash amber. So it's guaranteed to burn out your standard flasher, because it's got 4 indicators. The back is standard, and of course the reflector is normally mounted here, a rectangular one bolted to the body. There's a little hole in the body there. Removed for obvious reasons. I don't want a red reflector pointing forwards. No. It gets good looks at shows.
Yes.
Oh, the reversing lights are just there for show. Again, they don't work. They do at the back. But they don't work on the front. I get lots of things. Oh wow, a Jaguar. Oh, you're talking about this? No, it's a Daimler. You can tell the difference. Predominantly, Daimlers are driven by gentlemen. Predominantly, Jaguars are driven by pimps and bookmakers. Big difference.
Big difference.
It is my long-term plan, because this is my BMW show trailer, is to have them both set up, always ready to go. I've got 2 or 3 beach shelters, I've got 2 or 3 picnic sets, I've got more eskies than I know what to do with. And the idea is they will be permanently in the trailers, which is good for 2 things, because you've got the trailer but you've also haven't got the space that you're taking up with all the eskies in a stack. So you got them here, and all to attend something, all you do is top up the various supplies in the picnic set and so on and so forth. You've got your picnic chairs, you've got your picnic tables, you've got your beach shelter, you've got the handcuffs for those miscreants, and it's all in each trailer.
Spoken like an ex-policeman, like you were.
Yeah, morbid fascination with the unwholesome. But no, you've got to, that's why the thought of finishing them both, this one has got to be retrimmed for about the 3rd time on the inside, because the Daimler stroke Jaguar trim for the boot area is very non-robust, whatever the opposite of robust is. This is it. Whereas this is a plastic, like a moulded plastic thing with like a fur on it, and it's practically indestructible. You could chuck it into your swimming pool and pull it out, shake it clean, and just put it back in the car. This, if it was sort of like you spilt your coffee in there, the whole trim just collapses and goes soft, and it's useless. But that's this. This was made in WA, and quick sound out to Angry Panda Welding in Wollaston. He had the 2 halves of the cars. They were actually cut about halfway through the rear door aperture when he got them, and there were no boot lids, and there was obviously no tow bar on it. He just had the bodies, and he said he spent 3 days measuring before he made his first cut. It looks symmetrical and super cute on the top. Underneath, no. You can't put a spare tyre in the front. The front well is too small. The spare tyre is in the back. And this raised area here, which was obviously the parcel shelf, was actually one of the roofs cut in an oval and turned through 90 degrees and welded on.
Lateral thinking.
Well, it's like buying new metal and blah blah blah. It's the right era for the metal, because apparently you weld new to old, you can get more warping than you'd ever really want, and so the fact that that was all used was all very useful.
That's very good. And
oh, it's also got a limited slip diff. Because that's essential for any trailer.
That's right.
Must have a limited slip diff.
Especially on a picnic.
Struth, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want your trailer to get bogged.
No, exactly right.
Limited slip diff works, and of course it still has the inboard discs and the all the mechanism, which makes it absolutely impossible to work on.
Yes.
But it does unbolt and bolt up.
Yeah. So that's the Daimler.
The Daimler.
Now you were referring to this, which is off camera at the moment. Let's have a look at this
one.
So tell us about this.
Notice we've moved. We were pointing the other way before.
Yes.
You saw the other end.
Yeah. We're technical.
This is this end.
It's very technical. Yeah.
This is the back of my BMW trailer, which will be called BM Trail U.
And it's the big version too.
It was a
7
pair
Series.
of 4-litre 7 Series BMWs that had a tragic unforeseen accident with my welder. And, well, it's not my welder, but my welding person. And as you can see, this one has got a checker plate top.
Yes.
The reason it's got a checker plate top is because all the 7 Series that came to Australia had sunroofs. So you couldn't cut the roof and stick it on because you're putting a sunroof in your trailer.
Which is not a good idea.
Well, I mean, it's feasible, but I mean, you wouldn't move because there's no space to put it. But you have the front rear again. What I intend to do, the front end is all worse condition than this. I'm still working on it. The badges have got to go back on. I think these are actually loose. Yeah, at the moment they're not bolted in properly. I've got all the looms, so I'm going to use correct colour wires down each side as if it was in the car. And the front has actually got tape over everything red because this is all reflected.
Yes.
I can't odds the fact it's reflected, but I'm going to put a low wattage globe into the reversing light, so be like a park light, and the standard 21 watt in the indicator. So again, I'll have front rear indicators and front white light when the thing. But it's a gunner.
It's a gunner, yeah.
It's a gunner. I mean, it's not a tomorrow job. I've got other projects that I would rather get into, but it is complete. It does have real brakes, outboard brakes, not inboard brakes. Ooh, crowd goes wild. There's no diff in this one from memory because what I was able to do, these are McPherson strut style suspension. So I took the drive shafts out, took the end of the drive shaft only, where the constant velocity joint would go, took it off, cleaned the grease away, put the piece back with the spline, did up the spline nut, so now it's got that much of a drive shaft in each side, holding the wheel bearings in place. Oh, talking about holding in place, the Daimler that you've seen, that went down to Bustleton for the All British Car Day behind the Rolls.
Yes.
And I don't know anybody else that's got a trailer with 6 grease nipples each side on the suspension because it's got the genuine Jaguar suspension and
factory standard.
Overkill.
Yeah.
I've been told.
Yeah. Right.
I've never got involved in overkill myself.
Okay. Right.
Never.
That was a Men at Work title.
Was it?
Yeah. Back in the 80s. Popular band.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think my dad told me about that.
Getting me back.
Got to get in there on that one. But yeah, that is the BM Trail U. Because I've got provision for number plates front and rear, I own Alpine 38 as a plate, ALPINE 38, and this is E38 bodies, Alpine white. So I might be able to have Alpine 38 front and rear, and the BM Trail U plate as an auxiliary type plate on it. But you know, talk's cheap, action's the other stuff. Let's get it finished first.
Well, you've got till Christmas, which is 4 weeks away. Then we'll be back. How's that?
Did I tell you how much I hate you?
Every time we meet.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough. And this is the last of the cars that I've got here, Dave. Well, actually, I've got one on the hoist we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that one in a minute.
But this is the last road-going one that I've got at the moment that I would trust to go road-going. And this is a 1959 Morris Traveller. Don't call it a Woody unless you live on the west coast of America in the 60s. This is a Morris Traveller. Again, the dog absolutely adores being stuck in this because there's so much glass. He doesn't even, I mean, he sits in the back and it's sort of like panorama for him.
Oh, right,
you can see the entire see the world. It's got the big block 998.
Oh, heady days. Heady days with that.
Careful.
Yeah.
I mean, the power would probably give you sleeping sickness, I think.
And of course, if you were taking it to, say, Carnamar, how many days would it take to get there?
Oh, actually, it will cruise at about 55 miles an hour, which is about 90 clicks.
Yeah.
But it takes a very long time to get there. I mean, it hasn't got the acceleration of anything like the modern cars, but it would get there. I mean, it's going to be a day trip. By day, I mean 12 hours. About 4 hours to get there, a couple of hours in Carnamar, 4 hours to get back. It's a good day, but on a scale of 1 to 10, my Morris Minor has been to Carnamar under the big tractor.
It has.
Where's yours?
Exactly.
As I would say, and I will say to anybody, talk's cheap.
Yeah.
Action is going and doing it.
That's right, you have to do it.
Have to do it. Of course, got to give some of the clubs a bit of a plug. I have the misfortune to be a Morris Minor club member, and this is the jacket that I had done because I wanted a big Morris Minor badge on and name of the registration as well.
Well, there you go.
Isn't it sad?
Ah.
And of course people are saying, why is it Morris and a cow? Which is
That's a fair question.
It's not a cow, it's an ox, because the Morris factory was in Oxfordshire, so we have an ox over a ford.
Yeah.
Oxfordshire.
That's a ford as in a river, not a ford as is in.
No, you
Ford
wouldn't climb it. Wouldn't want to climb
because
it.
you wouldn't want to park this on top of your Mustang.
Good God, no.
Yeah.
I could scratch the underside of this car
That's
dreadfully.
right. I know.
Dreadfully.
Yeah, I know.
Again, this is predominantly original panels. It's a patchwork quilt of colours because various people have had go at it. It's got new fenders on the front. Amusing tale, when my dad got it from the dealers, which was Stewart and Arden in England, Croydon, and he ordered wing mirrors. These are the same original wing mirrors from 1959, but like one of them was here and one of them was there. And I tell you now, they are the most useless wing mirrors I have ever had the misfortune to use. I would like to change them to the one with a similar base, but they have a screw here and an arm that you can change the height of. Yeah. And that would make it far more useful to me. But they are the original ones that the dealers put on in 1959. This has all got to be redone because this is correct, as in factory correct, with the pinstripe. Yeah. A lot of people spray the whole trim a different colour, contrast, but that's wrong. It should be body colour with the pinstripe.
With the pinstripe, and the pinstripe just goes back as far as the
door handle.
Door handle, yeah.
And then of course I think I'm probably getting out of shot now, but just turn the camera slightly, make it live, like it's real.
Oh, we'll move it in.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Technical.
That's it. Oh. Sorry about the wobble, folks. That wasn't an earthquake here. That was.
That was, and I've got to get the thing level now. Otherwise, we'll all be falling over. Right, you can carry on.
Great stuff. These are not original. These are because it was converted from the semaphore arm indicators, which pop out. Nobody sees them anymore. Nobody sees them. No. They'll say, "Why didn't you indicate? Well, why didn't you look for the semaphore arms?" What? So I had to put flashing indicators. I actually originally did the conversion when I was 15, 16, and I'm now 72, so that's how long my conversion lasted. I hate jobs that only last a week.
Yeah, well, at least it didn't take that long.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I only finished it last week. The woodwork is all original, and I mean all original. And it's structural. This is an ash-bodied car. It's not a steel-bodied car with a bit of wood screwed on the outside to look cute. This is an ash-bodied car. The Morris Minor was the last production ash-bodied car. Morgans are still ash-bodied, but they're hand-built. Each one is individual. These were mass-produced, and there's a line of bolts on the back of the door thing here, which no doubt Dave will film afterwards.
I will, yes.
So we don't need to stop now. Yeah. And you've got these massive side windows.
You could open up an ice cream van with that.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
Well, ice cream on one side and coffee
treats
on the other.
Oh, dog treats on the other side, because the boss is inside.
Now, the thing that goes wrong with most of these, both in England and the ones I've seen over here, there are actually drain holes underneath or drilled through from the window channel. People let them block. So they fill up with water and the wood rots from the inside out, not the outside in. But yeah, so don't call it a Woody, Philistines. It's like Daimlers and Jaguars. This is a Traveller. And last, but by no means least, is my E-Type Jaguar, which is an ongoing restoration project. Some horrible repairs were done to get it through Rego. They had the longevity of basically a mayfly. You would not brag about them at all. There's a lot of insulating tape on the looms. There's a damaged looms from us. Some sort of abrasive load, I suppose. But I patched it through Rego. Now you've got to make it work so I can get to Adelaide in it. And as you can see, I'm taking the rear lights to bits. I'm going to start at the back and work my way to the front. Yeah. Again, it's quite an unusual vehicle. I did some research on it, and apparently the pepper pot wheels weren't standard. I just smile and nod a lot and say, well, they look good on it. Yeah. So I'm very happy to have the Jaguar pepper pot wheels. As I say, it is a V12, it is a manual. It's a lot of work. Yeah. It does have the same rear axle as my Daimler.
Oh, well, you got a spare.
Thank goodness. Yeah. I've got a limited slip diff spare.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
But I don't know whether what's in there is a limited slip diff. I've never checked it out. There's an awful lot of cleaning and cuddling to do with the underside of the vehicle before I'll be happy to say, yes, I'll take it to Carnamah for another tractor shot. But it's getting there. It's a question of making everything work and doing repairs that weren't just a patch to get it through Rego, but real repairs where the whole chunks of wire are removed and replaced, where they've been damaged by whatever was in there, and start again. Yeah, as I was pointing out earlier, there's some horrible repairs been done on this, and I want to bring it to a standard where I know I can turn the key, get to Adelaide with it. Yeah. And that's what it's all about for me. If it isn't reliable, long-term and long distance, I've done a bad job. And this is going to be a good job. And as I say, I know a guy in WA who drove his Daimler back from the Daimler Nationals. He had it trailered, or a car transported company out there. He actually got first or second nationally with the car.
Right, that's good.
And then because it didn't have to worry about whether it broke down on the way home, he drove it home from the Nationals in the eastern states, and apparently it performed beautifully. Which is what it's all about. If you fix it right, it's fixed.
Yeah, and they've got to be used.
Oh, street, yeah. I was told about the Silver Spirit engine that it's actually a wetliner engine, which means that the cylinders aren't connected to the block.
Correct.
You can take the head off, take the piston out, and then lift out the cylinder. It fits.
Yeah.
And there are 3 seals on each of the 8 wetliners. And if you neglect them for long enough, they will dry and shrink. And when you fire it up, it looks like it's got a blown head gasket. But it isn't. It's the seals have shrunk. But the cure is the same. You have to take the engine to 1,000 pieces. You have to get the heads decked. You have to take all of the liners out. You have to change all the seals on the liners, all 24. Then you have to bolt the engine back together, and it's a just job. Just fix the engine. Use them.
Just drive it.
That's radical. Yes, it has gone to Carnamah. It's about It's about 650 kilometre round trip
from here,
in the day.
Yeah.
And I've done it with the Rolls, I've done it with the Mustang, I intend to do it with the Morris, and also my daily drive X5, which isn't here at the moment. But you can't get pictures of the car under the tractor unless you take it to the tractor.
Yes.
Talk's cheap.
Yes, that's right. Well, thanks, Colin. It's been really interesting.
I hope so.
It's been a bit of an eye-opener for some people. Somebody who's actually honest about the cars. Yeah, there's some people out there, oh, everything's rosy. Yeah.
No, it isn't.
It's warts and all. So,
oh, it's truth, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I can. Yeah. I mean, if you want to see the bad bits of the Rolls, I mean,
we might do that on Sunday if we get time.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, we can't do it on Sunday because you're taking the Mustang.
I'm taking the Mustang.
We'll do the bad bits on the Mustang. How's that?
Oh, it's truth, yeah. How many do you want?
Oh, about 600.
I can only find 550 in a rush.
Oh,
Bugger.
Bugger.
Well, apart from anything else, the engine bay has never been touched. As far as I know, the heads have never been off it in, what, 50 or 60 years, whatever it is. But it did have a battery burst, which put battery acid right through the engine, and it's burnt all the rocker cover on one side, all these circular splashes of battery acid up the rocker cover. But it's never been touched. But I mean, I'm surprised, well, no, maybe we'll get a picture of it after, another day. The sparkly rocker covers.
Yes, I was just thinking that, yeah, because you've still got to get that finished, haven't you? You've got the covers done, but you haven't got the airbox done yet.
No, but I mean, you can have a picture. I mean, it's sunny. I mean, they will look stunning. Do you want me to fire it up, get it out?
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Drive it out, Cole. It's got the most beautiful cold start. I think I might have to change the angle slightly to get better sun on, but that will give you stunningly as attractive as I am. My voice will be better for this. As you can see, the rocker covers are sparkling beautifully in the sun, but where it's in the shadow it just looks like they're black and clean, which is what I wanted. Yeah. It's actually a sort of a midnight black with blue sparkle, and the Rolls Royce words are just like silver metallic. They're not sparkle at all, but that's the look I wanted. But there's all these parts here, he says with his fingers, these will all have to be powder coated black before they look any good. Yeah. The top air intake with the Rolls Royce and like the fluting on it, I will probably just go for flat black, well sorry, gloss black. I won't go for sparkle, because if you've got too much sparkle, it detracts from the fact that it is what it is. It's a Rolls Royce engine. Yeah. And the other question that some of the more technically astute will ask, how come it looks like a diesel? It's got one tube for each cylinder, like a diesel. It's actually a system called Bosch K-Jetronic, K for constant, but the German spelling of course. And as soon as you have the system pressurized, it is running fuel onto the rear of the inlet valves. So as soon as the valve opens with the camshaft, there's fuel sitting above the valve ready to roll. So it's a continuous injection of fuel metered by that thing in the middle there that looks like it should belong to a diesel, and it is the most hideously complicated thing. That's where you find a watchmaker, and I use those words advisedly. You need a watchmaker to rebuild that head. It is beyond anything that you can ever imagine inside there. There's a massive plate which comes down and opens the jets more or less, and blah blah blah. And the cold start injector, which it doesn't need because the jets leak, is on the front there. That thing with the two wires sticking out of it here is the thermostat housing, and this tube here, which is probably out of focus, knowing my luck, is actually the hydraulic pump which is run by the camshaft, which runs the suspension, the brakes, and all the other little things that you don't really care about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Rolls Royce. I mean,
right.
you don't even understand what goes on under here. Stuff.
Stuff, yeah.
I mean, if you want to repair one of these, the first thing you've got to do is kill the chicken whilst facing Mecca. Well, actually, Coventry, or Crewe rather, is where they built them. Yeah,
Crewe, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to kill the chicken whilst facing Crewe, but you probably don't have to do it at midnight at a full moon.
Well, that's just as well.
Yeah, because I mean, limits the number of days of the week that you could work on the car. But if you've done that, then yeah. And as I say, this has been to Carnamar. It enjoyed every moment. It ran like a Swiss watch the entire trip. It was just a joy. It's got climate control, so you just set the little temperature to what you think is appropriate, and it's got cruise control. So I set the cruise at about 105 and just waited for the world to change. Spirit of Ecstasy, the correct name for my little friend sitting on the front here. She is actually Eleanor Thompson was the model. Charming lady. Done in about 1916, I think. It was done during the First World War anyway. She hasn't changed much over the years. The most important thing is that she now disappears into the bonnet. This car predates where turning it off will make it disappear and a plate comes over. I can actually buy a plate from Rolls Royce which fills in the square, and you have like a key to either lock or unlock the plate, but I never park it where I can't see it anyway. And it's going to cost a fortune if anybody takes these. They're about $6,000 plus the mechanism that she's sitting on. It's a lot of money, but your second underfootman no longer has to worry about being disemboweled by the solid bolt-on Spirit of Ecstasy.
Well, thanks very much for that, Colin. It's absolute.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Dave. Thank you so much for coming. And my liking of you hasn't gone up much.
Ah, well, get used to it.
Yeah, okay. When you get the hate mail, just you know who it's from.
Yeah.
And don't open any unexpected presents without putting them in a bucket of water first.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I might just buy a sniffer dog, just in case.
Excellent move. Excellent move. No, now I've got to put it all away and tidy up. But no, it's been a day. Excellent. It's been great.
It's been good, yeah.